Friends, my name is Bryan. Back in June of 2023, I was just 2 months away from turning 50 years old, and I stepped on the scale, and boy, did I ever have a shock. Throughout my whole life, I was never into recreational drugs. I wasn't a drinker, but food was my thing. I was an emotional eater, and so for most of my adult life, I've had my weight going up, my weight going down, my weight going up, my weight going down. And in 2023, in June, I stepped on the scale, and I was shocked. I was 340 pounds. I was looking at the scale, and I looked at the mirror because I was about to get in the shower, and I'm like, dude, this isn't good. You're going to be 50 years old. But by December of 2023, I was 270 pounds. And I wanted to pass on how I did it. And I just want to share with you guys my top tips for what I did, because as we know, as you get older, it's a lot harder to drop weight. I decided to do it. Sounds kind of silly, but my mind was just like, hey man, I knew my health and my life was on the line. For a lot of people, I know it's hard. Even when they have a looming health crisis, a lot of people hem and haw and agonize about having to exercise and make better lifestyle changes. As funny as that sounds, I decided to do it. I thought, you know what? My life, my health, and my loved ones, they're worth it. Number 2 is resistance training. I made it a point to get to the gym 4 times a week. Resistance training is something that, even to this day, with the internet and YouTube, the general public still has a lot of misconceptions about it. You'll hear people saying, well, I don't want to get too big and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or I don't want to hurt myself, or I don't want to get muscle bound. And it's like, no, stop. Resistance training has many, many benefits, especially while you're aging. I don't lift heavy anymore, and I never handle a weight that I can't handle at least 12 reps with good form. When you get sucked into that mentality of, hey man, what can I do? How strong am I? What's my 1 rep max? Or what's my PR? That's when you're going to start getting into problems. For me, at my age, don't care about that anymore. I just want to look good and be healthy. I do a lot of warm-up sets. I do a lot of stretching. I do a lot of work on my flexibility as well. I train to be healthy. I don't train to get hurt. Having a bit of muscle mass on your body is a really good thing. It has many benefits. When you put on a bit of muscle, it's good for your body. Muscle is what is called metabolically active, meaning if you have a few more pounds of muscle on your body needs that many more calories to burn every day. So putting on muscle is a good thing, contrary to what a lot of people seem to be really confused about. Important footnote here. I always do my workouts early in the morning, and I always do them fasted on an empty stomach. I found that by getting up earlier in the morning was much better for losing fat than going to the gym later on at night or later on in the afternoon. It might have something to do with our stress hormone cortisol. I'm kind of working with the cortisol curve. You want your cortisol to be highest in the morning and decline as the day goes, so it's at slowest at night so you can fall asleep. So when I get up, my cortisol is already high, do my workout first thing in the morning, then I have the rest of the day to come down. Another added benefit of that is when I go to the gym really early, for me it's 4 in the morning, there's not really anyone else there, so you don't have to wait for equipment, you don't have to deal with all the craziness of it being busy, less stressful. So I found for me personally, working out earlier in the day was much better for fat loss. Cardio. I would always do my cardio after my workout. We don't want to burn the energy in the muscles right before we're about to lift. Often I'll see people come into the gym, they don't really know what they're doing. They just hop on the treadmill for a half an hour before they start lifting. And they wonder why they're not quite as strong or have much energy when they're working out. That's why I always do my cardio after. I'll do some forms of maybe high intensity cardio. I'll use different machines like the stepper, the assault bike, sometimes a treadmill on an incline, maybe the rowing machine. But I really vary my cardio to keep my body guessing. So every morning during the week, after I lift, I do my cardio, I come home, and I walk my dog. Diet, of course, everyone hears this. It's kind of like a dirty word that people don't want to hear. But diet, yes. So I used MyFitnessPal to track my calories and my steps. I found that was a big help. I tried to make sure I hit at least 250 grams of protein. Now, how much protein you need to eat varies from person to person. But you want 1 gram of protein per lean pound of body mass, meaning if you're a 300-pound man, you're probably not 300 pounds of muscle. How much is your lean body mass? How much would your body be with no fat on it? I try to keep my carbs with my post-workout shake and my first meal after my workout. And then for the rest of the day, I would trail off my carb intake, keeping it more to green vegetables or really low-carb sides with my protein. So if you're like me and you're an emotional eater, in this process, I still allowed myself 1 cheat meal a week. But I would make it good. I wouldn't just, get some treats and eat junk for the sake of eating junk or just eat really bad garbage. What I would do is say, okay, hey, let's go out and get a really good hamburger and fries at a really good restaurant that makes really good burgers and fries. So I would go and I would enjoy it. Then I would also do it earlier in the day, so I would do some walking after. Maybe I'd go to the mall and walk around. Maybe I'd go to the park. Maybe I'd go for a hike. But I'd always make sure that I did it earlier in the day so I could burn some of it off throughout the rest of the day. But have one cheat meal. When you have that emotional release from the stress of having to do a more strict diet, I found that really helped. A word of warning though, no sweets. I love sweets, I love desserts. But I always found that once I start reincorporating sugar, sweets, and desserts into my diet, I put on the weight much faster. As soon as I go on that crazy roller coaster ride of high and low blood sugar, it's just awful. So for me, no sweets with my cheat meal. Next, this one's very, very important, especially people in our age. I can't tell you guys how important this one is, and most middle-aged people have no idea about this. We all know that it's like, oh, when you're older, the weight comes on so much faster. I can't get away with what I used to eat anymore. And then it's a lot harder to get the weight to go, because a lot of our good hormones like testosterone and growth hormone and even our insulin apparently doesn't work as good as it did when we were younger. So all our hormones are declining or not working as well as they used to. Go get your hormone levels checked. Go see your doctor. Say, hey, just give me a hormone blood panel. Let me know what's going on in my body. Maybe you're deficient in something. Maybe you need to go on a replacement therapy. Maybe your hormone levels are completely out of whack and need to be balanced. I have known people in my age bracket who will literally kill themselves, work themselves into the ground, going to different gyms and taking different classes and doing different diets and doing different marathons. And they're like, man, like, why can't I get rid of this weight? And I'll say, hey, did you get your hormone levels checked? No, I don't want to do that. Get your hormone levels checked. You have a right to know what's going on in your body, and it makes the process much better. Number 7, as mentioned, when you're older and you have the declining hormones, it will take longer. You have to be patient. Be positive. I know that sounds cheesy and it's just one of those annoying guru things that you want to slap someone upside the head if they say that, but it's very true. Your body responds to the commands that your brain gives it. So if you're constantly thinking, oh, this is impossible, I don't want to go to the gym today, I'm not happy with my results, what I did was I said, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to see it through. I stayed positive for the whole journey. This is something you might not ever hear as a tip, but it's very important, and believe me, I know this. Fix your life. If you have a very stressful life, if you are in a very toxic or disordered relationship, something I know about very dearly, if you have a lot of stress in your life, you have to look at your stress and say, what can I control? What can I fix? I can tell you personally, no horrible relationship is worth staying in, but you need to fix your life. If you're under a lot of stress, it's going to be hard for you to lose the weight and get in shape. Get more active on the weekends. Go out, do some things that you like, do some activities. Get a good pair of walking shoes. For me, one of my favorite activities, especially in the nice weather, is trail hiking. I love trail hiking. I can go out, walk on a trail. Not only am I getting more steps and burning extra calories, I found it was really good for reducing stress, and we know how bad stress is. And also, it was a good time for me, maybe almost like a form of meditation. I could think, reflect, and I just felt overall it was fantastic. It was a big help. I did a lot of walking during the process. Number 10. Don't weigh yourself every day. I know this might go against what some other people might say. Weigh yourself once a week. Even better would be every 2 weeks. I have seen this firsthand in people. Sometimes they'll weigh themselves every day, and if they don't see their weight going down, they get into a big panic. Your weight can fluctuate quite a bit with your fluid levels in your body from day to day. Let's not create unneeded stress. Again, this all comes back to stress. The less stress you have, the easier the process is going to be. I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip as well. If you've been following my channel, I had a viral video come out about why I avoid people. If you have people that are trying to discourage you, I would just avoid them. Again, you don't need the stress, you don't need the headache, and you're worth it. Don't ever let anyone directly or indirectly ever tell you that you, your life, and your health are not worth it, because it is. Comment below. You can contact me at my email if you have any further questions. I really, really, really hope this helps you guys out. Let me know what you think. Take care.